Welcome to Morrison Madness. This is episode 13. I checked this time.
Yeah, you didn't say welcome to Morrison Madness last time. You just were like, welcome to episode 13. That's why I threw in the... Well, because I was
doing it before, so then
that's
that
why
way
I threw in
our
the love and
audio-visual
marriage
guy
thing.
knew about the...
I know what people didn't know. Like, if you'd have just kept going, people would have never known what podcast they tuned in. They'd be like, what the hell is... Who are these? I thought this was Fox Sports. Where are we at? Oh my God, this is not Star Trek.
So what are we talking about today, dear?
Romance.
Romance?
Yes.
Because Valentine's Day is coming up.
Sure is.
It should be in this next week. Romance.
Starting the day after Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is always coming up.
The day after Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is just around the corner.
That's right.
It should be. All the time. Absolutely.
That's right.
So we thought
just
romance
ask Hallmark.
Would be a good topic. And so then kind of thinking about, we have a lot that we could talk about romance, what it means to us, that kind of stuff, and we'll get into that. But I thought it would be fun to kind of look at theories that are out there about romance, love, things like that. And so, for example, one of them is Robert Sternberg, who in the late 1980s created a triangle theory of love. So he has 7 different types of love, and they have... If you think of a triangle, each point of the triangle is a type of love, and then on the sides, it's the combination of those 2 points, and then in the middle would be a combination of all 3.
This is the PhD student in her. I have no idea where this is coming from or going.
So he has, again, 7 different types of love, from liking to commitment to passion, or I guess intimacy, commitment, and passion are the 3 points of the triangle. It was kind of interesting to read, and then the idea is that the center one in the middle of the triangle is the consummate love, which combines all 3, and that tends to be the type of love that really lasts for marriages, things along those lines.
So in his theories, is this the type of love that is only romantic love, or is it also platonic love? So like the love I would have for my best friend.
No, it's more the romantic because the intimacy side. But if intimacy... So it's hard to explain, I guess. And I'm not an expert in this at all. I just did a little bit of reading. So for passion, first, the thing to think about that is like infatuation. So that's the butterflies in the stomach when you first meet somebody, feelings, that kind of stuff. And that they talk about how, in general, passion tends to wane in a relationship the longer you're with somebody.
Or a gut punch to the stomach.
I don't know if a gut punch is necessarily...
My very first real girlfriend in high school, I was standing in the doorway of the band room, had my arms up over my head, had my hands on the frame of the door, right? And she comes walking up and just punches me right in the stomach, and then just kept going.
And were you dating at that? No, that's what made you decide that you wanted to date her, is that she tried to beat you up?
We started dating a couple weeks later at like the Christmas dance.
She knew how to speak boy speak.
Apparently.
Right? So boys pick on girls when they like them, supposedly.
It certainly got my attention.
Right. Huh. Interesting. So, yeah, I don't think that's what they're talking about in the passion / infatuation corner of the triangle. The liking corner is the friendship. It's that feeling of that you have known this person forever, even if you just kind of met them, that you just feel comfortable being around them kind of component. And then commitment is the 3rd point of the triangle, which is, again, thinking more along marriage, things that way that you're committed to each other and you're not going anywhere else. And then they even talk about how in like arranged marriages, sometimes commitment comes first in those relationships because you don't really know that other person. So you may not have passion or intimacy yet, but that you would have commitment right from the get-go. And then commitment with passion on that side of the triangle is the fatuous love. I'm not going to go into details on this. You can look it up again, Sternberg's Triangle Theory of Love. It's interesting. Passion and intimacy is the romantic love. And then intimacy and commitment is compassionate love. But then when you have all 3 combined, that's where you get into the consummate love, which is kind of that they say it's been years and you still can't see yourself happier with anybody else. So it's that long-term commitment, love, marriage side of stuff. So I think, yes, friendship is in there, but that's more just your intimacy, liking. You can be really good friends with somebody, but you don't feel passion for them. You may have intimacy and commitment, and then that's that compassionate love where they're really good friends. You're committed to being friends for years kind of thing, but you don't have passion for each other. Does that make sense?
Sure.
That's my understanding. And
You're using passion in
wrong.
a sexual sense.
Right.
And I'm passionate about my friends, but not in a sexual sense.
Right.
Well, not all of them.
Well, that sounds like another podcast. But so I thought that was interesting because I hadn't really heard that one before. And I was wondering how many are out there because we've heard of some that were very popular.
Right.
And we decided that we wanted to bring that one in to this podcast because it's so popular and so many people talk about it. And we don't know a whole lot about that one. We'll get to that in a second. But so then I saw this one and I thought, I know Robert Sternberg because he actually does some research into areas that I'm interested in my PhD. And so I've done some of his reading on some of his theories and research. So then I thought, oh, well, that would be interesting to read a little bit more about. So I created a little cheat sheet to kind of remind myself what all that stuff was about.
He got his inspiration from the guy that did the hierarchy thing.
Maslow's hierarchy?
That guy, yeah.
But that's a layered triangle, not points of the triangle.
I'm just saying, that's where he got his inspiration
It's the triangle component, yeah. And then there was also several different websites when I was looking at stuff that focus on, I think it's 8 different types of love. And I thought you might be interested in this one, but we didn't have time to show you before the podcast, was based on Greek mythology stuff. And there's 8 different types of love. So maybe at some point Don can look at that and then maybe we'll do a romance part 2. I don't know. We'll see. But you tend to be more interested in that Greek and Roman mythology kind of things and stuff. And I didn't read into it a whole lot to know if that's tied much with what you're interested in.
Never heard of that, but yeah, I'd be interested in looking at it.
Yeah. So the one that we are going to kind of go into and talk about is the 5 love languages, because that tends to be very popular with people. And so I created a quick cheat sheet again about the 5 love languages and what they are, and I just listed them in alphabetical order, right? So do you want to help explain some of these, or?
I don't know that I could explain them.
Oh, well, okay.
I was going to say that it was brought to our attention earlier today that apparently people post these on dating sites.
Yeah.
Along with like your Strengths Finder score, and then what's the personality?
Not score. Your top strengths and your Strengths Finder.
Right, and then what's the personality one called?
Myers-Briggs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're always posting like, I'm an NSJF whatever thing, and I'm like,
are they really?
That's not even English. What the hell is that? What word? That's not a word.
Huh.
Yeah, I had to look it up. I was like, I had no idea what that was.
That's funny.
Apparently that's a
When
thing.
were you on a dating site?
So the more things that you post.
Recently.
No, I wasn't on a date. It was brought to my attention that this is a thing that happens. Oh. I'm just saying I know the Myers-Briggs thing because I've heard people talk about it. I remember people when we were in Meetup talking about
Yeah, Myers-Briggs is pretty popular as well.
And I'm just like, what the hell? You need...
Yeah.
Like I got news for you, sweetheart. I can tell your personality after 5 sentences. Your name's not Lisa, it's Karen.
Oh, good Lord.
Go get another Manhattan, sit down in the corner. We'll let you know when it's time to go home.
Oh, so we'll get back to the 5 love languages. So one of the love languages is acts of service. And these individuals prefer to be shown that they're cared for by having others help them with their chores or doing tasks for them, especially if they don't like that task or have been avoiding that task. They love to hear, let me do that for you, kind of idea. But then they're also really upset or crushed, or it can be a turnoff if there's a broken commitment. So if you say that you're going to do something for somebody that is really has an act of service love language and then don't follow through and do it, they are turned off by that.
See, and I didn't understand that. When I first read through the 5 things without reading the descriptions, I thought it meant that that's how you showed your love, by doing acts of service for other people.
No, this is usually what you prefer.
So I was so confused.
For yourself. Like, this is what you prefer other people do for you.
I'm used to hearing people talk about it in how they show their love language.
And sometimes
not the love language that they want.
Well, a lot of times people, and again, I haven't done a lot of research into the 5 love languages, but from what I've heard is that you tend to want to show others how you feel comfortable receiving most. So if you prefer acts of service for you, you're more apt to do acts of service for others, is part of it, which is why you can usually kind of tell somebody's love language because they're naturally drawn to that if they don't know you that well. Or we like to joke about how both of our mothers are a gift giver.
I can't wait for you to try and guess mine.
So, okay. Yeah, so we kind of gave that away. So we actually did there's a quiz you can do online and find out your 5 love languages. And we did them, but we haven't told each other our responses.
I know yours. I didn't.
So
that whole personality thing. 5 sentences in, and I knew.
Well, rock on. So acts of service. Then yes. So that was the one of the 5. The next one, and again, I'm just going in alphabetical order, is physical touch. So it's contact and being touched, and not just in a sexual way, but that having hugs, just having somebody put your hand on your shoulder is a comforting, calming component. Holding hands, and especially if they're feeling bad or ill, that it's a big comfort to have somebody physically touch them in comfort in that way. So that's physical touch. Quality time, they want attention. They want to be around somebody, whether it's at home or out, but they really want you to have an interest in what they're saying, what they're feeling, what they're doing. And so the quality time side is they really want to feel special and listened to. And one of the components about this is that if the person they're having a conversation with seems distracted, playing on their phone, things that way, that's a turnoff or hurts that love language in that way. So thinking like if you go out to dinner while you're spending time with them, but then you're distracted by your phone, then that disqualifies the spending time together kind of idea. If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. The 4th one is receiving gifts, and this is one we joke about is our mothers, both of our mothers, love language because they love to give things. But part of it is that they love to receive things, but it doesn't have to be all about a big gift or money. It's the thoughtfulness of it. So it can be...
But it stresses your mom out if she gives a gift to somebody. Like she thinks so long, and so she spends so much time worrying, will they like this gift? Will this gift...
Yes. And because for gift givers, it's about what the gift is and what it means. So it's more about...
Right, it's not about an expensive gift. It's about the connection of the gift to the person.
Right. You could get the cheapest chocolate, like a little box of M&Ms for somebody, but if they really, really love chocolate, then that's great.
Right.
Kind of thing. It doesn't mean that you have to go get the most expensive chocolate for them. It's that you get them what their favorite is, right? Or something along those lines. So it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be big. It's the thought that goes behind it. And then birthdays, anniversaries, anything that has to do with giving gifts. And a lot of times I feel like these individuals, when you get together with people, also... they're more apt to come with a gift for people. Like they have excuses to give gifts. At least our parents do, or our mothers do. I couldn't tell you how many times your mom will just drop by and be like, so I saw this and I thought of you.
Right.
And that's part of what that is.
Absolutely.
And so the last one
This is why our house is so full.
Our house is full. And then the last one is the words of affirmation, which is that words just speak louder than actions. And so then these individuals tend to be really drawn to pet names, having a lot of compliments given to them, being told that I love you, especially being told why they're loved is important. They want to know the reasons behind that kind of stuff. But then on the flip side, they also take insults very deeply. It really sticks with them, and name calling is really hard to get over as well.
Reminds me of that post that I put on Morrison Madness.
Which one?
You should follow us on Morrison Madness on Facebook if you don't, because I post some great stuff on there.
And we just started Twitter recently.
So I posted that when we're out in public and you always say, yes, my pet, no, my pet, whenever I ask you a question. And everybody thought that was so endearing. And then I would have to go around and tell them that she leaves project off of the end of that. And that's so true.
Happen.
Yes, it does. It happens all the time.
I don't ever call
and
you
now
pet.
Now they all feel sorry for you.
You are a bit of a pet project, but I don't call you pet. But yes, and those things that you post that's you with no filter, which I think goes back into our ADD and creativity podcast from the last couple weeks. That's just you. That stuff pops in your head and you just go with it.
If I don't get it out, I'll blow up.
I know, right? So, okay, those are the 5. Before we run out of time, we may have to do a second romance one and talk about
I don't think so. I think we can wrap this up pretty quick.
Yeah? All right, so...
I'm going to guess. Guess what yours is.
Okay, you guess mine.
Right? That's why I kept mine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Tipped up.
Okay, I'm tipping mine up then.
So, your first one, your one with the highest number is going to be physical touch.
True story.
And your second one is going to be words of affirmation.
Oh, okay.
And then your third one is going to be acts of service.
Okay. Interesting.
Am I right?
What's the lowest one?
Receiving gifts.
Okay. You're almost right. You're close. The second one is not right.
I have those flipped around?
You do.
So acts of service and then words of affirmation.
No, the acts of service is my third one.
Oh.
So physical touch.
Right. And then words of affirmation?
And then, no.
Quality time?
Then quality time.
Quality time.
Then acts of service and then words of affirmation.
Gotcha.
Yep. I would say for yours, if I had to guess, your top would be quality time. Your second would be acts of service. Your third would be words of affirmation. Fourth would be receiving gifts. And last would be physical touch.
I almost thought you cheated and had a copy of mine until you got to the last 2.
And you didn't think I could guess yours.
I didn't.
I know you better than you think you know me.
You do, yeah. It's weird to me, though. I thought there would be a larger gap between them. But some of the questions were so hard because they were so similar.
Yeah.
Because I thought there would be I have 33% for quality time and then 30% for acts of service. I really thought the quality time would be higher.
Yeah, see, and I have 33% for physical touch, but then I have 27% for quality time.
Yeah, and I have 0 for receiving gifts.
I have 3%.
It's hard to impress me with a gift.
But I have.
You have, yes. So it's one of those things where if there are things that I want, I'm just going to,
right.
I have that weird thing where I talk myself out of getting myself things, even like I have a blue snaggletooth. I have wanted one for 20 frickin' years and still don't have one. And I could get one. It just makes me mad at how much they cost, and so I don't buy it.
Right.
But if I really wanted it, I would just go get it.
Right.
And so the gifts, well, I appreciate if somebody gives me a gift. It's not like I'm like, oh man, you got me to get,
Right.
I appreciate gifts, but I would rather have your parents come and hang out with us for a weekend and play cards and cook and talk and just hang out than have them get me a gift.
Yep.
Gifts are nice, but I care more about spending time with people and just hanging out and having a good time, joking and laughing. And
if we're not just hanging out, doing a project together would be the next best thing.
Exactly.
Which is that acts of service.
But it's quality time.
Right.
I enjoy doing things together. When your dad comes, when we were building the deck before we got married, and your dad came out and started helping me, some of the best times I spent with your dad. And when we put together that grill, because we're talking the whole time.
Right.
While we're working, but we're talking the whole time.
Right.
So, and I knew that yours was physical touch all the time because you come up to me all the time. And you're like, I haven't had a hug in a long time. I could use a hug. I need a hug. Sometimes you just look at me and I'm like, do you need a hug? And then when I give you a hug, sometimes you're like, that wasn't the best hug ever. You can do better. So I'm,
That's true though. It is.
Yeah.
So, but part of that is because, and again, so for you, you're more apt to want to spend quality time with me, and I am happy to spend quality time with you because that's my second highest. But because physical touch is that your fourth or your fifth?
Fourth.
The fourth. So because physical touch is your fourth, that's way down on the list for you to think about because you don't need or want or desire that, where that's high for me.
Right.
So then you have to kind of rewire your brain to remember.
And I'm better.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think we also have to understand too that part of your difficulty is with your RA, that sometimes it's painful.
Yes.
So even just holding my hand can be painful for you because you're having a flare up.
Right.
And so.
Well, and with the Ehlers-Danlos, even when I'm not having a flare up, after a while it starts to hurt.
Right. And having a short back massage or something that way, that can be not even possible for you because of a flare up or what have you. So that's one of those to kind of, you have to remember that. I have to remind myself that it's not that you don't care about me, it's that that's not something you think about and or that you're hurting. So it's not something that you're going to do. But again, that's, otherwise. And again, this shows that you don't have to be exactly the same as your partner, but you have to keep in mind what your partner needs in order to keep things running smoothly and keep your partner happy in that way. Because there are times where I'm like, honey, I just need a hug.
So I think what I would say to people about this is take the quiz for yourself.
Yeah.
But then take the quiz a second time and try and answer the way you think that your partner would answer. And that would help you understand, hopefully, what their love language is.
Right.
And then that helps you be able to connect to them better.
Right. Or
the fact that I know what your love language was, I think that helps us be, and you knew what mine was, clearly.
Yes.
I think that helps us be better towards each other, romantically, intimately, friendly, whatever, in all of the triangle ways.
In all of Sternberg's ways?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sternberg.
I think so.
That's. I thought that was a piano, but no.
That's a Steinway.
Steinway. Dang.
Nice try, though.
Yep. So anyway, we're not experts on this, but again, if you call the 800 number, we're happy to take your calls right now. Otherwise, I think that's it for this week.
I think so. So happy Valentine's Day coming up here. And again, remember to...
Or happy Groundhog Day.
Oh, yeah, Groundhog Day. Yeah.
That happens.
It does. Hopefully, you're enjoying our podcast. You're here, so I'm assuming at this point, if you're still listening, you're enjoying our podcast. Please share, comment. That helps us out a ton to be seen. The algorithms don't work if people aren't sharing and liking.
Well, and if you know other things like this, like Sternberg,
Robert Sternberg.
Right, and the 5 languages of love. If you know other things like this, send them our way, because we would definitely check them out. We like doing this kind of stuff as a couple, just to, even though we've been together we've known each other for 10 years, we've been together, married for 7. Right. We enjoy this kind of stuff, so.
Right. Well, and to the point where, I learned how to teach StrengthsFinder, so we could do StrengthsFinder podcast as well and talk all about those, because those are fun, but that's a lot. But yes, we would be all about doing different theories. So if you know of surveys and theories and stuff out there and you want to see how we match up or don't, we might be interested in that too.
That's right. So, all right, until next time.
We'll see you next time.
Stay safe.